The new suburbs are finished and the residents have moved in. Everything seems peachy. But resource-wise, Lithia Bay is in a lot of trouble. We're currently running a 2,000-ton deficit in timber, and it only gets worse. We have deficits in paper, furniture, and the raw material required to make it all, wood. Because we don't do any local harvesting, we're forced to import every wood-related product, and that's sending millions of dollars in potential revenue to our neighboring counties. So to capture that revenue and reduce the reliance on imported goods, Tess Mercer designates and approves a new heavy industrial zone for timber extraction. So today, we're going to build out a massive operation for extracting and storing wood. We'll set up a particleboard factory to start processing timber, and of course, a fire station, because I'm surprised Lithia Bay hasn't burnt down already. Let's jump in. To get started with our forestry industry, we need to talk location, and I can see the suburbs over here being really against any industry within this area, even though clearing these trees might actually be a really good thing for potential forest fires. Aside from that, I'm actually thinking about our future port as well, and I'm thinking we're going to build that somewhere over here. Most likely we'll want to export any resource extraction through that port, which means we'll want to keep a large portion of our industrial within this vicinity. At the same time, this is going to be an extremely important area for Lithia Bay in the future. This might sound crazy, I really want one giant massive grid here. Kind of like our main city, but on a much larger scale. So with all of that in mind, I want to build our forest industry right here. We already have a large section of trees to work with, which doesn't really matter because we're going to set all of this up differently anyways. But the main thing I care about is being able to run a highway alongside this contour line and then ending somewhere alongside this hill. Now we don't actually have that much money, so I want to buy our tiles before we do anything else. These are the 3 tiles that we're going to need. We technically could buy this one and this one, but because I'm not going to build in the area, I'm just going to run a highway through. I'm not going to worry about it too much. And after simulating for 10 minutes and watching a tornado fly through here, we finally have enough money, so let's get these tiles purchased. And now we're ready to run this rural highway alongside this contour line right here. So within our tile, we have this flat section right here, and this is actually where our base of operations is going to be located. Thankfully, because we haven't done any wood-related production in Lithia Bay, we can actually follow the chain of progression that the supply chain pack has in mind for us, which means we need to make sure we're considering that when we're building our grid. And I already know that if I want to get the particleboard factory in, I need to go at least 14 by 25 units. To get started on our grid, we're going to grab a gravel road, and we're going to pull somewhere from right around here. We're going to go past all of the hill, and we'll just send this around. That way we have a guideline. So we'll snap onto this corner, and we're going to pull 25 units down. Now we'll go 14 units over, and then back up to 25. And we're going to repeat this grid pattern about 11 more times. Everything within our dirt road grid, I want to be fairly flat. So using Move It, we'll turn on our marquee mode. We'll deselect everything except for nodes and segments. We'll hold Shift, hover over our grid, and now we're going to pull this back a tiny bit. And we're also going to align everything to the same height. So I'll click Control H, and let's say this height right here. This is important because when we place down our particleboard factories and all of our storages, everything will be much easier to work with if we have a nice flat land. We're also going to clear all of the trees in this area, which is kind of ironic, but it makes it easier to see what we're doing. We're going to need a road that's going to circulate traffic all around this grid. And honestly, I might be going overboard with the complexity here, but what I'm really aiming for is one giant contained operation. So we're gonna run this wide alley alongside these roads, but I wanna make sure that we're giving enough room in between the dirt road and the wide alley. Because the wide alley is bigger than the actual gravel road, we can't get a center snapping unless we turn off snap to zoning cell length. That allows us to align these roads perfectly, and then we'll turn it back on to get more precise measurements. And just by eyeballing this, I think that 12 units is gonna be good enough. Yeah, I think that's pretty much perfect. It gives us just enough room on the outsides where we can make sure that we have enough trees being extracted. We're gonna continue this wide alley all alongside our gravel grid. There's going to be lots of heavy trucks driving in and out of this area, so I want to make sure that we're making all of these curves nice and gentle. And to do that, all we have to do is open up manipulation mode and move it. And when we hover over the road, it shows us these pink little nodes. So we'll hold Alt, click this node, and then drag it back. And we'll do the exact same thing with this one. Now that gives us a much more gentle curve and makes it way easier for trucks to turn. And we're going to do this for each and every intersection or curve. Now these trees are starting to get on my nerves a bit, so let's clear them all. And now you can actually see how much better those curves are. Now we want to make a few connections from our wide alley into our gravel road. Let's have 2 in these middle roads. And then we're just going to have 1 more that connects from this middle road. And then again, we're just going to manipulate all of our intersections to have nice sweeping curves. Now that we have all of this in place, we're finally ready to grab our specialized industry, and we're going to plop down a few forestry main buildings. We're going to do that all along the sides, and I don't really care if they're symmetrical. I think it's going to look a little bit better if I just kind of place them at random. These buildings need utilities, so let's just connect our roads into our highway. And the only thing that I'm worried about here is this curve. It's not too bad, but still, it's something that we want to keep in mind. That connection looks good. Let's just do our last one over here. So this rural highway carries power, water, and sewage, but none of that matters if we didn't upgrade these roads down here. So to get this fixed, we'll snap onto right here, and then we'll connect into our power line down here. And then for water and sewage, it's the exact same thing. And there we go. Now everything is getting all the utilities it needs. Let's extend the surfaces of these main buildings to cover this entire area. And now we're finally ready to add in some trees. I want to be a bit lazy with this, so I'm just going to use our grid tool. We're going to set our tree age to be sapling, young, mature, and elderly. We'll turn on fixed length along with random rotation. Now I just want to get a feel for how wide this is. So that's a bit too wide. Let's drop this down. And just going off feelings alone, I think 12 meters is pretty good. So all we have to do is set our main point, make a straight line, click again, and then pull all the way down. And now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. And to make it extra lazy, I will cover the main building to start, but once we have our main trees in, we'll go back and we'll actually delete any trees near our main building. Now let's do this for all of our buildings. Now I just want to get a feel for how this is looking compared to everything else, and already I can tell that it's a pretty big area. It's pretty much the same size as Cherrytown, but I still do really like how it's coming out. While I was placing the trees, we actually unlocked our particle board factory. It happened much quicker than I thought it would, and we'll get this placed in a second. What I want to do first is make somewhat of a storage area. So in Find It, we'll open up our industrial buildings, we'll type in forest, and then we're going to set our level to 5, and we're going to place down 4 of these 6x6s, and we'll do it right in this corner. We just want to make sure that we're keeping it off these roads. And of course, I have butterfingers, so I misclicked. But yeah, we'll have 4 of them right here. Now there's always one thing that worries me about these storage buildings, and it's whether a company spawned in or not. Thankfully, this one has it. And you're kidding me, we already unlocked the antique store? So this would be the next building that you unlock from the supply chain. Due to the recently opened particle board factory in town, we actually never opened one, so the local market has been flooded with low-cost consumer-grade furniture. As a result, we have an abundance of older, sturdier furniture that can be sold at a premium to those that can pay. I really wasn't expecting to unlock it that quickly. Now we do have 1 company, 2 companies, the 3rd one doesn't have any, and neither does the 4th one. I am happy to have at least 2, and worst comes to worst, we'll just detail it to make it look like there's actually storage happening here. But I'm going to let these sit for a bit because I'd much rather have everything working, and honestly, I just really wish we had finer control over this. The only reason it really becomes a problem is that empty buildings negatively impact demand really heavily, and we can already see in our industrial demand we have unoccupied buildings, and then if we open up our industrial info view, we'll turn all of this off except for industrial buildings, and this darker color right here means it's vacant. So if you ever see that in your demand view, just know that you have to go through, look for any buildings that are black, and then delete them. Anyways, we have our particle board facility, so let's add in a few of them. And we're going to have 2 of them front Pecan Wood Lane. And then we'll have 2 more of them front this dirt road right here. So these require wood, and they produce timber. We probably should have taken a look at this earlier, but let's see where we're at. So at the moment we're producing 144 tons, but we do have a total production capacity for 182 tons. We're only consuming 83 tons, which gives us a surplus of 60 tons. Now let's check our timber because the last time I looked at this, it was really bad. And after placing the particle board factories, it's definitely improved. Right now we only have a 104 ton deficit, and I imagine that's going to get better over time once these businesses hit their full efficiency. Right now, a few of them don't have enough employees. There's only one more item left to unlock, and that is our wood veneer production. We're about halfway there. Now, I'm really liking how all of this is looking, but one thing I think we should all be worried about is our fire coverage. And with our fire and rescue info view, we're specifically turning on fire hazard only, and yet this is only a yellow. And as I say that, we get a forest fire. How is this only a yellow? That doesn't even make sense. All right, now what about our coverage? How does our coverage look? Our coverage is actually decent down here. Even with that, we're still going to give this area its own fire station. And after looking at all of our options, I really like the one that we can't afford. I think this is going to fit in pretty much perfectly. Really what I like about it is that it doesn't feel too urban. I feel like this is something that I could see in the city and also out in the country. So we're going to let things simulate for a second until we have enough money to place this in. And while we were simulating, we unlocked the interior design studio. So now we have a wealth of furniture, but are almost completely broke on ideas for where to put it all. Opening the interior design studio will surely put us on the map for any lover of fine tables, chairs, and even smaller tables. That honestly happened much quicker than I expected it to, but now we have just enough money to place our UK fire station, and we're going to do that right here. There's one thing I want to do, and that's make sure that this fire station has the absolute best access it can get, and so we want to make sure that it's aimed directly at this middle road. And we'll take this a step further, and what we'll do is we'll align all of our garage doors directly into this node. And the beauty of this is that they have super easy access to this road, which will carry them all the way down the dirt road, and then they can pretty much distribute anywhere they need to in this area. While we're in this area, I actually want to add a few more buildings alongside Orchard Lane, and I want this to be somewhere where workers could come relax, maybe even sleep, they could eat lunch, they could hang out. So in Find It, we'll click on Specialized Buildings, and this gives us access to all of our main buildings. We're going to make sure our level is set to number 5. And actually, looking at this Agriculture Hub 1, I really like it. I feel like this could work in a bunch of different varieties and contexts. I don't really think it fits in with what we're doing now, but I'm going to favorite it so that I never forget it. The only types of buildings that I don't want to place down are ones that clearly look like agriculture. So for example, this one has the grain silos in the back, and that's really not going to be a good fit. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Let's grab a gravel road, and we're just going to run it alongside our contours. We'll need to do a bit of work right here, just to make sure that nothing looks wonky. Let's snap a road to the back of our fire station. And now we're going to connect into our gravel road over here. And then we're going to continue this road. And then we'll just make our last connection back into our wide alley. That right there really helps sell this area for me. And it also unlocks our paper factory. We're not going to touch this today, but we can definitely do some expansion in the future. Now, before I forget, we should probably assign our fire station a district. And I thought it'd be fun if we break this up into a few different areas. Are you kidding me? Another tornado. Where? The residents of Apple Ridge and Keysville must be on the edge of their seats because 2 tornadoes have passed right by their area. We're going to assign 2 districts, and our first one will be our resource extraction. So we'll call that wood extraction. The second one will be our particleboard factories, and we'll call this one timber production. Our next one will be in our storage area, and I really don't know how big our storage area is going to be. So for the time being, let's just say it's this area. And then until we expand everything else, our last district will be right here. And let's call this one the barracks. I was really hoping that these storage areas would have filled in, but it doesn't seem like that's the case right now. And like I mentioned, it's really bad for buildings to sit empty. So we're going to delete those. And unfortunately, we're going to have to create some artificial storage. At least in this case, we can make it look really nice though. Something to keep in mind is that for our storage buildings, we want to keep them off of this outside road, specifically the gravel one, because that's going to help a lot with traffic flow. We'll have our raw resource go into storage, or the raw resource will go directly into our particleboard factory, but we don't want both the transportation and storage to happen on Ashbourne Lane. So with that in mind, let's pull one of the real storages to the right, and we're going to flip that around. We'll get that nice and snug like that. We're going to flip this one around too. Now with our gravel road, I'm going to connect these buildings in, wrap around our other gravel road, and then we'll make sure to connect these across. Let's delete all of these fences. With Dirt Road 15, we're going to snap directly into the middle. We'll get that first one placed in, and then we're going to look for a decal because we can place it on top to help this transition look just a bit more natural. And here's Dirt Road 15. So we'll just place this right on top. And now we're going to continue running our net lane all the way around. And now let's open up Find It because we're going to place some more wood down. So underneath the props section, we're just going to type in log pile. And now we can see all the logs that we have available in the game. Something that I've never seen before is that if you hover over this fire icon, it says this asset might have a strong impact on performance. Very interesting, that's for sure. Now I want this area to have a similar look and feel to this one. Otherwise, the difference might just be a bit jarring. We're going to use our medium prop, and we're just going to place a few of these in. And now let's grab the forestry surface because we're going to place it in right here. So we'll set our area to as big as we can go because why not? And there we go, that actually fits really well. Let's also just do the same with this entire lot. But I think what we need to do is delete the surface that the storage lots come with. And aside from this one disappearing, I think that looks a lot better. Now we want to grab some individual logs, so we're going to get rid of our log pile, and this time we'll just search up log. And we're going to take these individual logs. We'll make sure snap to the surface of an object is off, because I don't want it to stack on top. And we're going to place these kind of at an angle to each other. And it's something that's so small, but it makes it feel not so neat and tidy. And it really helps replicate the look from over here. So now let's just get a bunch of these small little logs in. Now I think we should get some type of fence around here, and I'm really not seeing one that looks good. They all seem either way too residential or way too industrial, but I think we could probably make this fence work. So let's get this in, and we're just going to wrap it all the way around the corners. And now we're going to do the exact same thing, but on this side. I ended up moving things around a bit, changing up some of the net lanes, and I really like how it turned out. We finally unlocked the wood veneer production. So production has been strong, but the demand for our timber products has been stronger. Using this upgrade boosts industrial efficiency, and we can offer the same high quality wood products by shaving off the top grain and simply wrapping it around some sawdust. I don't know if there's a joke in there that I don't get, but we're going to add on this upgrade, and we're only going to do it to one facility. And there we go. I love how that looks. I wish we could add this to multiple facilities without getting the extra 5% bonus, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like there's a way. Now I just remembered that after adding in all of the districts, I never actually set our fire station to operate in any of them. I'm noticing that we're losing a lot of our trees, so let's check on our production, and we just barely have a surplus. Right now it's only 0.51 tons. I'm honestly kind of impressed by how close we're riding that line. And for our timber, we now have a 396 ton deficit, which is insane. These buildings are producing 18 tons per month. I'm really not sure if there's anything we can do about the timber production, but there definitely is with the wood production. So we'll grab our main building, and we're gonna try and keep it off of our circulation road and our main road. And then we're just gonna place a few of these down. And now we're going to extend all of their surfaces, and we'll also place down the trees. All right, and that takes us from 181 tons of production to... I was expecting some dramatic big reveal, but it only takes us to 218 tons total production capacity. And as of right now, we only have a surplus of 6 tons. I think that is one of the biggest letdowns that I've ever witnessed. How much are each of these producing? So 10, 13, another 12. Yeah, I think those numbers must be lying to us because there's no way we're basically at the exact same spot. And what's even worse is our timber deficit. I'm almost starting to believe that these numbers are just make-believe because this is insane. How would we ever hit that? Each of these buildings right here produce 20-ish, so we'd need like 100 of these buildings placed down. I don't think that's ever possible. Either way, we have one more plot left, and I'm just going to fill it with the forestry surface, and we can save this for some type of expansion, so either if we need more wood or if we need more storage. Before I forget, I do want to say that we had to upgrade our water pump over here because all of these buildings weren't receiving enough water. I think we need a better and more local solution to this area. So let's open our water and sewage info view. I think we got really lucky because we have a water source right here. So let's take our groundwater pumping station. And as long as it says 75,000 meters cubed, I am perfectly happy. Let's get that placed in right there. And now we're just going to connect this in with a road. And now we have a total output of 518,000 meters cubed, which is a significant upgrade, but really, it's just a bit of realism. And of course, there's a forest fire, and it's all the way up here. Let's continue to ignore that, and instead what we're going to do is quickly jump into detailing. There's really only one more thing that I want to do, and that's take some of our dirt road net lanes and run them all over our gravel roads. I really think it's going to tie this area together, so let's jump in. Alright, and before we end things off today, let's give this its new name. So the winner of the poll was Riverstone. And of course there's a tornado. Like, you gotta be joking. This has to be a joke. This can't be reality. This video alone, there's been 6 tornadoes. Either way, let's jump into a quick before and after. And that's a wrap. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed. Huge thanks to all of our amazing Patreon and YouTube members. Today's shoutouts go to Jake Hill, Gary Key, Deku, and Freya Stark, and to everyone else supporting the channel in any way. Seriously, it's really appreciated. If you want sneak peeks or access to the save files, you can join us over on Patreon or YouTube. If you haven't already, a like, comment, and subscription really go a long way. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.